Greetings everyone, Zoe Wind here, checking in from the beautiful Sedona. It's a little bit of a rainy day today, so not my usual out on the Red Rocks talk, but you can still see them in the background. And wishing you all a merry, happy, blessed spring equinox for the Northern Hemisphere, fall equinox for the Southern. This is the astrological new year. This is when we start our calendar for the year astrologically, and cultures the world over, almost all of our ancestors, or at least some of them, celebrated the new year on this day. And this is because this is when the light takes dominance over the dark or the night, signifying life and warmth, birth, rebirth. It is marked by the sun's ingress into the sign of Aries, tropically speaking. And this is the first sign of the zodiac, the sign of selfhood, the sign of new life, of forging a new path for life to thrive once again on the planet, in our lives. Our new sense of self may feel reawakened, rebirthed. This will activate a different house in all of our charts depending on our rising sign. So look for the house containing Aries in your chart to learn more. And I just love spring. It's probably my favorite, spring and summer. I like warm weather. I'm born at winter solstice, so they say if you're born around that time, you can have a deficiency of fire in your chart. I don't have a deficiency of fire, but in my sun, yes. So I wait for these warm days, although we don't have one of those today. It's been kind of stormy and lovely. The winds were coming in last night to really clear and change out the spiritual energy. I noticed that the land spirits, the sky spirits that are presiding over an area tend to change guard with the seasons, and especially around solstices and equinoxes, we'll notice big storms and big winds. And I've been studying this for like 10 years now in all the places I live. So I hope that you're feeling that sense of renewal and refreshment. This week, astrologically, we have Mercury aligning with the North Node and Chiron, Venus aligning with Saturn in Pisces. We have Mars changing signs into Pisces near the end of the week. Sun will sextile Pluto, but the big show is equinox, and the equinox chart features all of these things happening. And so what does it all mean, right? Well, I've been calling this Chiron North Node alignment an activation of world healing through the authentic expression of self, this reemergence of self. Like, we've all had programming into how we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to show up. What does healing look like, right? Chiron and Aries can be wounds around needing to always push, needing to always drive, do more, self-improve. And there's this like call to soften right now into what is healing really, you know? Healing doesn't come from that fancy 2-week retreat in Bali or from a plant medicine ceremony with some ancient shaman. It doesn't happen through our guided workbooks of shadow healing processes, but all of these things can lead us to a place of healing. All of these things support us into a place of healing. But healing is something really quite mysterious. And the only way that I think we can really gauge that we've experienced healing is through our personal experience. That something has shifted, something has changed. We feel more free, we feel more alive, we feel more of ourselves. And the self, right? Capital S self, small s self, merging that together, this personality or ego that we each carry in the world, seeking to align that with our higher truth, takes a lot of unlearning and unprogramming. And this is exactly what the South Node in Libra is doing right now. Libra is etiquette, social norms, beauty, diplomacy. It is structure and design, how we design systems, how we design our spaces, so that we can be ourselves, so that we can bring our gifts to the world. It is somewhat involved in law and finding proper discernment and judgment. Libras get this funny rap of being indecisive and they can't make decisions, but I always find that funny when I'm doing readings for someone with a lot of Libra. It's like your ability to see all sides and weigh that through the heart of Venus in her masculine air expression of the mind, being able to weigh that is exactly what makes Libra the best judge of all, right? Its symbol is the scales, which is the symbol of justice. And so we're looking at this balance between that Libra desire for social harmony, justice, and balance, and this Aries desire to be our primal, authentic selves, to just have everything around us in such a way that we can do that we can show up, that we're not constantly putting ourselves into boxes or trying to adjust ourselves, even if that's coming from a place of loving other people, of caring about how other people feel. We're kind of balancing this balancing act between maintaining, purifying this desire to care about others' experiences, to be courteous, to be polite and diplomatic, and being able to talk about all of these sides and view all of these different aspects of reality, but to be able to then stand in and speak our truth, to do that without compromising who we are and our divine right to be that self with a capital S. Aries is this drive for evolution. The new child comes through with mutations or new genetics that have changed to meet the needs of its current day. And likewise, we're all doing that. And so if we're still constricted in these old paradigm models of relationships or marriage or contracts or friendship and etiquette that's just feeling like it's constricting us, this is what these eclipses are healing. It's what they're clearing. It's also clearing old civilizational models. And so I'm going down to Tulum in a couple days for an event called Regen Week, which is a collection of regenerative, new thought leaders to create new civilizational models on the planet. And I'm preparing a talk down there where I'm super excited to talk about how these eclipses are helping us clear any attachments to these old ways of being. Now, why wouldn't we want to let go of something that's not working, right? Well, it's comfortable, it's familiar, it's what we know, it's where we come from, it's what our parents did, it's what, the government or the television or the media is implying will keep us safe and secure. But if we look around, there's a lot of systems that ain't working, right? There's a lot of people that aren't getting fed, people that don't have homes. There's a lot of lack of justice in this world. And so we're being asked to clear out where we're attached to these old models on a collective level. On a personal level, this is probably going to show up as shifting relationship patterns. And this has been going on since the eclipses really activated these signs back in the fall. And so a lot of endings of relationships, a lot of new beginnings in relationships. This Venus is going to conjunct Saturn on the 21st, and this is going to bring in where we are making new commitments to our energetic integrity in our lives, our spiritual dedication to the principles, the philosophies that we have found to be true in our lives. So is this truth? Is this loving self? Is this being honest with the people around us, right? And so I've been hearing about, and not surprised about, a lot of friend breakups or romantic breakups or partnership contracts ending. That might be one manifestation. The other one is, hey, how can we rearrange our design of this relationship? I've been encouraging us speaking in I statements to activate this Aries North Node So I didn't honor myself here. I was running on an old program that I was taught I needed to give, and I wasn't allowed to ask for what I wanted. Or maybe I can just ask, hey, this would feel really supportive for me. The reality is, not everyone will be able to meet our needs. There's certain needs that can only be met in ourselves. And so this is the other activation of this Chiron and Aries is, well, where have we been looking to others to provide us some kind of comfort or solace, or, all those codependent patternings that so many of us were raised with, which really is residue of the age in Pisces and the former form of tribalism, where everyone's together, the unit's together, we're all enmeshed, we know that we're okay, we know we're safe because we have each other. And as we're transitioning into the age of Aquarius, which is really characterized by spaciousness, freedom, sovereignty, the ability to be unique and different from the people around us, to not have to conform in ways that don't feel really true to ourselves. This takes some trust, which hopefully we are harvesting from the age of Pisces, that each individual, all beings are beings of love and goodness in their heart. And I always say shadow is a misguided attempt at finding love. No matter what the behavior might be and the way that it's showing up, it's always just some distorted way of getting love. And so this is this opportunity with this Aries activation to feel that love so deeply within, to find that sense of safety and security so deeply within ourselves, to look in the mirror and see ourselves for who we are, and to choose to love ourselves. Eclipses are associated with dragons. In Vedic astrology, the North and the South Node, which is where the eclipses take place in the sky, are called Rahu and Ketu, the head and the tail of the dragon. And so the South Node is Libra right now, which is where this full moon eclipse is happening. The sun is still going to be conjunct Neptune. So we're going to have a lot of energy for forgiveness, for surrender, for release. And the North Node is with Chiron, and Mercury is activating that this week. So there is a call to take back our story. Only we can decide who we are. Only we can share what our truth is. No one can tell another person what their truth is. We can say what our truth is of our perspective of that person, right? But we can't actually know their truth. And in this new age that's birthing, we have a need for new earth leadership. And I've been getting a lot of readings lately of people who have been kind of waiting for the world to be ready for their style of leadership. Shadow Aries can be dominant and ambitious and driven, and sometimes not as aware of Libra things like other people's feelings. So we want to be looking at where we can still honor everyone around us, but we're really coming into this ability to forge our own way of leadership, of being vulnerable, of using our voice, of sharing our story. And if you've had a journey, anything like mine, sometimes life is really challenging. There's a lot of loss. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. And something I've learned, especially recently, as this Chiron's literally hanging out on my ascendant, is that we don't want to forget where we came from. As we move through and things get better and we're getting activated in our truth and our mission and our purpose and this joy to give and share with the world, we want to remember the pain, the story, maybe the suffering that brought us to this point to want to do this work, because it keeps us in that truth of mission. Aries is the warrior, and so it needs to know what's sacred and why it's on its mission, because it is this fierce dragon, it is this fierce protector. And if the warrior doesn't know what it serves, what it values, what it protects, what is sacred to it, it can cause destruction. And this is kind of true for all of the fire signs and the element of fire in general. So this is really stunning because I'm looking at the astrology like 10 years plus into the future right now. And we're in this time, according to Mayan prophecies from 2020 to 2032, where we are at a crux point of birthing into a higher consciousness on the planet, one where we know and recognize all beings as one, the interconnectedness of the universe, the divinity, the sacredness of all things, the universal cosmic laws that govern this space, realms of Libra, Sagittarius, Pisces. And so the world chart has this Venus Pisces for the spring equinox. Venus Pisces conjunct Saturn for the spring equinox, which is this renewal of our vows to the sacred. Venus is our values, what is pleasurable, what we value in the maternal, feminine form, material realm. Like, this is all spirit, right? Embodied. It is not separate. It can't possibly be separate. And so this is a beautiful time to write out a list of what is sacred, why are we doing what we're doing, and renew our vows, because Venus Saturn manifests and anchors our dreams, Pisces, into material form. So this is a year that we'll be seeing opportunity to do that at higher levels. So rewriting our story with Mercury on the North Node this week. Great time to write and channel and prepare your intentions going into the Libra and Aries eclipses. And I will see you next time to talk about the Aries eclipse conjunct Chiron on April 8th. Until then, beautiful, blessed, sweet surrender.